Testing, testing. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. In association with Round for Round Boxing, the new boxing game coming out on PC, Xbox, PS4. Check it out. Check out the playlist on our channel and also check out www.roundforroundboxing.com. This is a special video. Shout out to Denise Ward. Denise Ward is one of our longest supporters, watching us for many, many years, and asked the question to me, do I think that Kell Brook could have been a global superstar in boxing? The short answer to that question is yes, I do. But now I have to go into deeper detail as to why I believe things have gone wrong. Now, let's put some things clear on the table first. A lot of this stuff is pure speculation. My opinion, I don't know Kell Brook. I've seen Dominic Ingle, but I've never spoken to him up close and personal. I would love to have met Brendan Ingle. Rest in peace. Brendan Ingle, I think, remains the greatest trainer in British boxing. His technique and style he imparted in boxers, won titles at area level, British level, Commonwealth level, European level, and world level, from Nassim Hamid to Johnny Nelson to Kell Brook himself to Ryan Rose. The list goes on and on Junior Witter. The list goes on. People have fought and won titles at different weight categories, and of course different levels of boxing. Of course, Prince Nazim was at the very top of world boxing. Junior Witter himself won the WBC title. Johnny Nelson, commentator for Sky, also won WBO title and made numerous defenses of the WBO title. Regardless of what you may think of the WBO, Johnny Nelson was still a world champion and he made quite a few successful defenses of that title. Anyway, I digress. So the question is, Denise Ward, could Brook have been a global superstar? I think he could well have been a global superstar. People say, well, why can't he still be? Well, I think maybe now Brook is at the other end of his career, in my opinion. And I'm going to go back. The video is titled Money Grab, Glory, or Bad Management. Now, I remember, I'll tell you something. I remember when Brook fought Carson Jones for the first time, and I tipped Carson Jones to beat Kell Brook that night. This is a prediction. It's around, I think, 2009, 2010. I remember making that prediction. I said that Brook's inside game was pretty poor, and I said that Carson Jones will get inside of Brook, and he will hurt Brook and potentially stop Brook because he won't be able to deal with Carson Jones' far superior inside game. And I was almost right. You know, he hurt Brook and he had Brook in a lot of trouble. Then we hear afterwards that Brook was having issues with, he hadn't trained for the fight properly. His fitness wasn't great. He had to get a nutritionist. So there was something going on behind the scenes that we as boxing fans weren't aware of. Even then, when Brook fought Carson Jones in the rematch, I remember Carson telling me before the fight, he said, listen, the fight was meant to be at welterweight. Then they moved the fight up to light middleweight. I didn't know it was at light middleweight. And even that fight, Brook looked okay. He didn't look great, and that was at light middleweight. So, yeah. Then Brook went over, and there was talk about Brook there was talk before Brook had changed promoter that Brook really didn't want to be in big fights. He lacked confidence. And it was a long time before Brook actually got that shot at the world title. He got his world title shot against Sean Porter. A fight, I have to be honest in saying, I didn't think he ripped the title away from Sean Porter. And I'm a big believer, if you go abroad, You can't just nick a title by grabbing on, holding on to guys and punching them. You've got to rip the title away from the champion. And I didn't believe he did that. In fact, I thought the champion chest outworked him. And I had the fight in Sean Porter's favour. But I was very happy that Kell Brook became world champion that night. Very happy. Then we had the defences against Frankie Gavin, Yo-Yo Dan, and whoever else. Brook was seemingly on the way. Big fights falling through. Still Brook looking good in his defences. Now for me, and I can tell you this firsthand, before Keith Thurman became world champion, myself and Keith spoke a lot. In fact, I remember one conversation Keith had with me, two conversations he had. He rang me up. And when I was living in Grenada, he rang me up on the phone. He said to me, see that boy Kell Brook there? He and I are the two best welterweights in the world. This was just before Keith became world champion, back 2013. I remember him talking at length about how he rated Kell Brook's style and how he's a good boxer. So Keith Thurman rated Kell Brook very highly. He saw him as being a very skilled boxer. So Keith had a tremendous amount of respect for Kell Brook. Although he wanted to fight Brook, had a lot of respect for him. And then he told me how he did actually meet Kell Brook, and he told him to his face he wanted to face him. He said that Brook is, I think he mentioned that he saw Brook and he said that Brook was quite big and a natural welterweight, a big welterweight at that. And how he kind of laughed off a fight against Khan, saying that Khan wasn't a natural welterweight. And Keith then went on to this whole discussion about the welterweight division, that is really filled of light welterweights and not bona fide welterweights. It was a discussion he was having. He was making a real in-depth thing about how the welterweight division was full of light welterweights. Anyway, again, I digress. So he rated Kell Brook, and he said that Kell Brook was one of the best. He felt Kell was him and Kell Brook were the best welterweights in the world. Now, how Kell Brook moves from being one of the best welterweights in the world to being a contender for the middleweight title is beyond me. We know he had the injury. We know he got stabbed in his leg. Various stories have come out about how that happened. Don't want to speculate because I don't know, and I don't want to spread rumors. However, Brook came back, made full recovery. But then he goes into a fight against Gennady Golovkin. Now, this is the question why I asked whether it was a money grab, whether it was glory, or bad management. Well, first of all, you as a fighter have decisions to make. Now, I don't know. Again, I don't know. I can just speculate and say, well, okay, Brook had been fighting for so many years. Big fights had fallen through. And if there was an investment in him, that investment had to be returned. That, or typical thing with fighters not using their money wisely and falling into debt, or hanging around with the wrong sort of crowd, and with it, your money being swallowed up very quickly, and you have to pay off certain debts because of various vices. Again, I don't know Kell Brook. I repeat, I do not know Kell Brook. I don't know his personal life. These are all speculation. I'm only answering a question, in my opinion. I'm going through this process. So, if it were money problems, if it was money problems, then a fight against Golovkin would have been a money grab because he needed the money. Glory, well, if you'd beaten Golovkin, yeah, he would have been glory. There would have been a lot of glory there in beating Golovkin. And bad management, well, it wasn't great management. The fact that Brook was going to go into a fight, a career-defining fight, which really did define his career, all for the wrong reasons. He went in against a guy who was a heavy-handed guy at middleweight. Brook was never a middleweight. And in the process, got his orbital bone smashed. A fight he didn't need to be in. And then the humiliation or all the talk of him being a quitter. So then after that, instead of him, He goes straight into a fight, straight after that, against the arguably the best welterweight in the world, in Errol Spence Jr. And not only does he suffer another broken eye socket, that he has further humiliation, being called a quitter yet again. First time he's in the ring when he fights Golovkin, there's comments about his trainer carrying a white towel in his hand. And then the second fight he has, back to back, he fights Errol Spence and pulls his body back down from middleweight, down to welterweight. In a fight that was difficult for him anyway. A fight that I'd like to see Brook fight Errol Spence Jr. at his very best. Now, I'm not saying he would have beaten Errol Spence, but as an unbeaten fighter, I would love to see that fight. These two fights here, to me, are career-ending losses. I mean, in the Spence fight, all the will in the world, all the fight in Brook was beaten out of him. Within body shots and Spence's consistency. In the Golovkin fight, brute strength and power and weight and bullying caused Brook to, I wouldn't say fold, but succumb to the power of Golovkin. Fair play to Brook in both fights. He never got knocked out. So he's a sturdy guy and he's a brave guy with plenty of balls. Subsequently, from those defeats, Brook has come back and fought. But those injuries to his eyes, we saw the Zafara fight. And in that fight, we saw Brook getting hit cleanly with shots that I don't think he saw coming. And he hasn't got the reflexes he once had. Talk of Brook saying that this fight he had in Sheffield on Saturday night, just gone, was going to be his last fight in Sheffield, and that he was chasing big fights. So I hope and pray he's not chasing a fight of Hurd, because Hurd will be the end of the road for Kell Brook. I really think so. I mean, Brook can punch to a point, but if Hurd soaks that all up, he's such a big guy. I mean, Hurd looks to me like a super middleweight, you know, when he's coming into that ring. And Brook is a big welterweight, a smaller light middleweight, and an even smaller middleweight. So for me, how they manage Brook's career now is important. I would rather see Brook now get in the ring with someone like Amir Khan, who's not as big a puncher and is vulnerable, and put Brook against guys like that. I don't want to see him fighting Hurd. I'd like to see Brook fight guys. Well, a fight like him and in Jeff Horn would be a good fight. Somewhere in Australia, a fight there. Him versus Adrian Broner, another fight for Brook I'd like to see. But I'd steer him clear of rematches against Errol Spence, fight against Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, those guys that level above. I wouldn't want to see Brook in, because first of all, he's going to drag his body back down to welterweight. I don't want to see that. And the other thing is, I don't want to see him getting hit by them guys now, where he's not. If he's getting hit by Zafara as cleanly as he was there, and I don't think he'll see those punches coming, and I think that comes down to his injury, then I really don't want to see him getting hit by known punches. So I just don't think the Golovkin fight, for me, was the beginning of the end of any chance of Brook being a global superstar. It looked all good and promising when he fought Sean Porter and he beat Sean Porter that night. We thought, here we go, this is it. But it never happened. And he could have been a superstar. But for you to be a superstar, you have to be well managed. And you have to not listen to what the fans say, but listen to what is best for your career at that time. And I think the best careers, or well managed careers, are with guys who have enough money in their pocket, also are able to fight meaningful fights without putting himself in a position where it could be career ending, which is what happened with Brook against Golovkin. That for me was a career ending fight. I don't think Brook ever recovered from the Golovkin loss and then was forced to fight Spence next, which I thought I would have found. I mentioned at the time that I would have avoided the Spence fight, moved up and fought Hurd at the time because Hurd was only just up and coming. Not many people knew about Hurd, and he had just Hurd hadn't fought and just fought Tony Harrison. And I said at that point in time, I would have taken a fight against Hurd then. Now he's just moving to being a complete beast, Hurd. So yes, Brook could have been. I think he could have been a superstar, but you know, it's painful. It's actually painful now, since because you're looking at a guy. Another guy. When you look at a guy, I think you've got so much potential. You had so much skill. You know, when people were looking at Brook and they were saying, well, because of he came from the same gym as Sheffield, he had the whole Prince Nazim thing. He was sounding like Nas, yeah, but he was his own style. He was individual. He had his own way. He had the whole thing with Nas there and Prince Nazim Hamid, and he could have gone off the back of that. And for so many years, Brook was trying to get out the shadow of Nassim Hamid. And when he finally tries to get himself out of the shadow of Nassim Hamid, he gets put back by getting smashed to bits by Golovkin and Errol Spence Jr. Now he's in the shadows of Amir Khan. Because look at Amir Khan. Amir Khan was once considered the best light welterweight in the world. Even briefly, he was considered the best light welterweight in the world. I remember that picture he took either in New York or somewhere in America. We had all the belts on his, or most, he had some unified belts on his shoulders. He'd beaten guys like Zab Judah. A fight with Zab Judah and Kell Brook would have been great for Brook's resume. But really, what was Brook's career-defining fight? Sean Porter didn't look great in that fight. We know what happened in the Golovkin fight. He started off okay. But you have to give, credit to Brook and his team for showing the blueprints as to how to go about beating Golovkin, which is to put him onto the back foot, don't allow him to generate power, and to be a moving target. So, let's see what people are saying in the room now. Brook is done and Hurd will end him for good. His eyes are done. He can't see punches coming and lacks confidence and spite in fear of hurting himself even more. Shot fighter. Yeah, well, Brook probably knows something we don't know. Walk on, Ingram. Yes, Razor, I hope you well. Brook is now a used condom. World breaker fighting. Brother, how are you? I hope you're well. We keep missing one another. Evening, Ingram. Shame Kell's not looking too good. I love the win against Porter, but take that out. He has no real names for my liking to think of him anymore other than a wasted fighter. My brother, Ingram. Yes, my brother, Dennis, we need to catch up. Yes, World Breaker. GGG fight was a bad mistake for Brook. Of course it was. But that was the beginning of the end. Blame Eubank Jr. Bad management. That's when I first noticed Spence. Spence was around for a while. If you heard the rumors of Porter, the sparring stories of what he did to Floyd Mayweather and what he did to Broner in sparring, that was enough to let you know this guy was the real McCoy. And those were some serious sparring stories, and you could see the talent of Spence coming up anyway. Sounds like you're repeating everything I said, LOL. Great minds think alike. Brook is in no man's land because we know Khan is gonna duck and take Crawford. Well, he's gonna get a licking for that anyway. 100%. Hearn never secured a big fight for Brook when he had the world title 147. Spence was mandatory. Hearn gave us bums in such a strong division. So why is he going to deliver a big name now? Good point. Only fight he's going to get is Hearn at 154. Eddie Hearn was probably like, I know you got the chocolate brownies to beat GGG. I don't know. Listen, I feel so sorry for Brook, and I think Brook himself is frustrated. But I made a point. I think I made a comment before he fought Golovkin. I said Brook needs to leave Matchroom, and he needs to become a PBC fighter. If Brook had left before he fought Golovkin and became a PBC fighter, I can tell you one thing now: he would not have been fighting Golovkin. You would have seen Brook in that PBC mix. Even Pacquiao now is a bloody PBC fighter. Pacquiao saw sense. Brook should have gone to PBC. I said it before and I'll say it again. You know, Eddie Hearn supporters won't like what I'm saying, but yeah, Brook should have gone to PBC before he fought Golovkin. But money grab, certainly I think, is ultimately, and you money grab for different reasons. You money grab because, like, you've got financial problems. Your money grab because you're too blasty greedy. You money grab because you can't handle money. And you money grab because you lack vision. You want the money now. I want the money now, as opposed to, you know, I can accumulate this money by taking fights that I'm not going to risk my health. I don't know. When you're an unbeaten fighter as well, your head can be filled with lots of gas. And the realities of what you can do as opposed to what you think you can do can get brutally exposed in big fights such as what he had against Golovkin. It was one step too far. You know, somebody said to me the other day, oh yeah, Brook should have fought Canelo. I'm not even going to bother responding to that. Sometimes the long road is the safe road. That is what a lot of boxing fans don't understand. They want fights right now, this minute in time, and they don't care, and they don't understand the management of boxing. They just understand fights now. The best fight the best. But for the best to fight the best, in my opinion, the best need to become the best, and that is by experience and fights. And you've got to gain experience going through hard fights, going through difficult moments, from prospect to contender to champion. Fighting, get yourself in the top 10, doing your first 10 rounder, doing your first 12 rounder, fighting a southpaw, fighting orthodox, fighting a big puncher, coming through rocky moments. All those things you do to prepare yourself, like the old school, to become ready for a world title shot. So when you become a world champion, you have fought different styles already. Not this business of, like they love to do on Sky, guys had 12 fights. So when's he going to get a world title shot? This fast track business, it doesn't work, because what you end up doing is two things happen. You get a world title way before your time. So then you think you're better than you actually are. And then you find somebody who's bit tasty. You think you're better than you think you are. And then you're on the end of a one-sided ass whooping. That's what happens. Bad management. Just, this is what's happening today. That's why I respect guys like, there's certain guys I respect in boxing that are taking their time, not rushing it, and learning their craft and learning their trade. A lot of these fighters are being fast-tracked because of the investment that some of these promoters are putting into the fighters. So if a fighter's I've heard stories. A fighter is, let's say a fighter signs a contract and they're investing him, $500,000 in the first 4 or 5 fights of his career. Then he's got to generate that money back because they've made investment in that fighter. I don't know how much was invested in Brook. Again, I don't know if that was the case as well. But, after putting a guy top billing remember Brook was top of the bill and all these things in Sheffield. But what came of it? And just remember, this is the promoter that brought us Brook versus Gavin pay-per-view. Were you there? Did you buy it? And how did you feel? Dillian Whyte is in the same position as Brook in some respects. How he is being managed, I see them both regretting not leaving Matchroom sooner. Dillian Whyte's another one that needs to leave. I've said it before and I'll say it again. And if I ever get a chance to talk to Dillian, I'll tell him as well. You need to be somebody who's going to look after your career. But I guess his way of thinking is, I'm making my money. I'm a pay-per-view fighter. So I hope this answers your question, by the way, Denise Wards. Much love to you, and thank you for your support. I really appreciate your support. I really do. I'm really grateful of all the support. Brook was getting the better of GGG until round 6. Listen, he was going to get an arse whooping. He was getting he was going to get an arse whooping. It's like when you say, well, Khan was winning that fight against Canelo. No, it was just a matter of time before lights out. Then shit got real. Anthony Yard, he's taking his time. Can't hate on that. No, Anthony Yard, he's taking his time. But the only problem I have with that Yard situation is I hope, because look at Brook. If you look at where Brook is and look how Yard's moving, that's sort of taking your time, building a fighter up. Well, if you do all that and then you've taken all that time and then you go and fight Hosea Burton knocks you out, or somebody in the British rankings knocks you out, or a guy who's not even European class goes on and knocks you out, that's not good. Then you think to yourself, well, okay, you can delay time and you can delay fights, but if you're not getting the right fights, timing is everything, but getting the right fights at the right time. That guy that Yard was going to fight, I'm glad that the boxing commission didn't sanction that fight because it was an absolute joke of a fight. That wasn't Yard's fault. I understand people are pulling out fights or whatever, but I'd like to see Yard in now with a guy, a Mexican guy that's known for durability, that can punch a bit and that can push him back. But he needs fights now that are going to bring him out of his comfort zone to see what he's got. That whole, he is world ranked #1, but he needs to be fighting guys. He doesn't have to be fighting, that's a tough division. And for anyone's argument, just people want to know where I stand in the light heavyweight division. My personal opinion, the best light heavyweight in the world is Bivol. Really is. I think he's the best light heavyweight in the world. I just want to see how my man Badou Jack does in that division. Still waiting for you to give it to Dogba after his head got bigger than his boots after winning the belt earlier on in the year. Took his head out of the game and got found out in the weekend. There's a lot I could say, but at this minute in time, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. You're right. Dillian White suits Frank Warren. He does. Nail! Dogba got too big for his boots. Stop talking to Ingram. Interesting. I think Yard beats them all British guys anyway, but you're right. We all think Yard can do a lot of things until the reality happens where he fights someone and starts to punch him back. We need to see somebody hitting Yard back. In all honesty, we do. I mean, Tunde Ajayi is doing a phenomenal job with Yard. In fact, I think he's the best promoted fighter without an Olympic gold medalist in this country. In fact, I'll go one step further. He's probably the best promoted fighter in the world that hasn't won an Olympic gold medal or World Amateur Championship. He's probably the best promoted fighter. Just think a second. I don't think, not being funny, I don't think the likes of, I don't know, I could be wrong, but likes of Lomachenko and what's his name? Lomachenko and what's this guy's name? Usyk are getting a sort of sponsorship deals rolling off of them the way Yard is. Can Yard Buatsi? Buatsi, we know, has got pedigree. We know he's got proven pedigree. There's no doubt about his amateur career and what he's doing as a pro. Buatsi's heavy-handed. He's got good boxing ability. Buatsi looks like a guy who's definitely going places. He's one to watch for 2019. And for me, Buatsi, we need to see how he does. He will probably fight some tasty opposition. I think they're going to fast-track him. So he'll get fast-tracked, no doubt. Buatsi has Quinlan on the undercard of White Chisora. He's going to destroy Quinlan. Quinlan's going to wish he'd ever met. He's going to wish He never even spelt the name Boatsi, let alone speak his name. Now, that's some pain. What can I say about this Dogba situation? First of all, when I heard what his team was saying, or what his father and what Dogba was saying, they said they underestimated the challenger. And I'm like, I shook my head. As soon as I shook my head, I'm thinking, I know Dad. I know Dad trains Dogba really hard. I know he trains really hard. So I know he'd come in superb condition. And I know Dogba would come to fight. But what we saw on Saturday night was painful, very painful. Question marks we asked about the corner and the corner work. And they probably thought they had it all together. And the thing is, when you come together as family and you do things as a family, you can only respect that. You know, they might not have been as prepared as one world champion should be prepared. I don't know. Was this guy the number one contender? Was it a voluntary defense? He'd only just fought a few months earlier. This guy was all wrong for Dogba. All wrong. He was all wrong. Height, reach, everything was wrong in terms of matchmaking for Dogba. And as people said, he got horrid instructions from his corner. That can be because of panic. That can be because of many things. Did he come into the fight with an injury? I don't know. But what blew me away, and it's still in my mind, and I'm thinking, something that makes sense here. He said you underestimated your opponent. You underestimate your opponent. And I'm thinking, bro, can you really afford to be underestimating people? I mean, where he lives in Ghana, where his family in Ghana and his royal heritage, can you afford to underestimate? This is a young man with an old head, very wise young man. I would never have thought that Dogba and his father would have underestimated. I would never have thought that of them. I don't know if that was a PR spin there, mumbo jumbo, but what they said, and from what I know of them, from an African culture background and from a cultural background and from just talking to them at length. Because when I do interviews, I don't just interview people for the moment. When I do an interview, I'm talking, I'm thinking, well, okay, if I don't get to talk to you again for whatever reason, whether it be for whatever reason I can't get to talk to you again, I want to have it in my mindset that when something happens in the future, I can kind of bring back what I know of you, what I know of your character, what you've told me, and what you've seen intimately off the camera of you and your family. So I'm befuddled. Like, okay, put it this way. If it was somebody like James DeGale that said, oh yeah, I underestimated the opponent, I would have kind of took that and said, yeah, okay, I can see that. Because James, no disrespect to James, I think he's an excellent fighter. But he has got a cocky way about him, and that could be probably misunderstood. But yeah, good fighters that are cocky, you know, or they've got that sort of thing about them. Or even Prince Nazim Hamid, the way his career kind of fell apart. You could see that sort of complacency, not training as much in the gym. You could see those things. But a hard-working guy like Dogba, I can't believe that he overlooked the opponent. I just find that hard to believe. Really don't know this Dogba guy. People saying Lomachenko had an off night against Pedraza coming off an injury. I don't. I don't think Lomachenko is the best pound for pound fighter in the world. I think he's a good fighter, but he's not. If you hadn't watched boxing before and you looked at Lomachenko, you think Lomachenko was the greatest thing since sliced bread. But to be honest, I think when you've seen guys like Pernell Whitaker, defensive masters, when you look at guys like you look at guys like you just look at Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather never got the sort of praise that Lomachenko's getting. Never got the sort of praise and the sort of buttering up that Lomachenko got. He never got it. Never got it from his own American media. Floyd never got that sort of boost that Lomachenko's getting. Never. Now, I think Lomachenko is a talented fighter. I think he's highly skilled. But I don't think he is like the greatest fighter that lived on the planet. I don't think he's people say he's the Matrix. The Matrix is something that you can't work out already. Hello, am I still there? Right. So I get okay. So somebody's got to remind me where I was at when I was talking. Where was I? Okay. So what did you want me to answer? Let me go back a second. Last 5 minutes. So all right, I'll go back up again. I don't know what happened there. So Dog Bear isn't humble anymore. Why wasn't you on the channel with Mel? What's Melissa PR saying about all this? Or she's stuck up as well. I'm sure eventually you'll hear what's going on via the media outlets that are out there. That's my answer to that. Ingram, give him time. Then he forgot where he came from. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if you can blame Dog Bear for that. from what I know of them personally, they've never come across that way to me. They've always been very humble people. So yeah, they put the bravado on when they were trying to fight for the world title. But that's the seller fight. That's showmanship. But generally, very humble. I never got that belief that they are arrogant or, and I never believed that for 1 second about them. So, like the other thing is just to consider for a second, and I like to pick things up and throw things out there and just see that it's speculation and it happens a lot in boxing, so it's not very far from the truth. This is speculation, not the truth. Well, I don't know if it's the truth, but check this out. Just imagine in between Dogbear winning the world title and him making his first defense, and then the second defense, between the first and second defense, that things were going on behind the scenes that weren't to the liking of Top Rank. I'm not saying this is the truth of all, but these things happen in boxing. And then they say, all right, don't like the way this agreement's going. The best way to get him out of a contract, or the best way to get him out of the way, I don't like dealing with him, find him difficult to deal with, bring this guy in and let him beat the crap out of Dogbear, humble them, and we can go on and move on with our business. That has happened. I've seen it happen so many times in boxing. I'm not suggesting that this is the case, but it certainly is a surefire way to change the direction of a contract and change the direction of how a fighter's career will be going. Hunter Takam breakdown of White Chisora. Wow, good fight. Good fight. We know that Hunter's got an engine on him, and we know that Takam has some stamina issues. Got to back Hunter at the moment. Hunter, this guy's crazy. He fought Bakole and stopped him. He then went on and stopped Ustinov. Now he's going and fighting Takam. This guy, Hunter, is a proper roll back, old-fashioned fighter. He's just getting in there and beating guys up. Known guys with a name. Takam's coming off a knockout defeat to Chisora. Now, bearing in mind, Chisora was getting his ass handed to him before he landed that right hand. And shout out to Xavier Miller, who was in the corner of Derek Chisora that night, trainer at the head coach at IQ Boxing Academy. Going to give them a shout. And while I give them a shout, I'm going to give EJ Boxing a shout as well, because obviously he's part of that gym, and it was because of EJ Boxing I got to meet Xavier Miller, head coach of IQ Boxing Academy in Neasden. And shout out to a few others, Ozzy Jervier and Stay Ready Campbell. Yeah, and Kay Prosper, who's fighting shortly for the title. Neo D says Hunter is not fighting. Oh, good if he isn't. I mean, you know, he's been doing a lot of fighting recently, so good if he isn't fighting. Hunter fought Bakole, and he just recently beat up Ustinov as well. He's a guy that fought a cruiserweight against Usyk, had a world title fight against Usyk. Gave Usyk a difficult fight, but Usyk came out on top in the end. I think it was Usyk's first American big fight. It could have been his first or second. That was the first fight Usyk had under a different trainer outside of Uncle James Ali Bashir. Yeah. Lomachenko, Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis should be nowhere near Lomachenko at this point in time. Gervonta Davis is one of those guys who need to be fighting regularly and consistently. I think Gervonta Davis, like many other fighters today, the best way to get out of a contract is just not to fight. So that's what happens. That's why some of these guys you don't see fighting for a long while, not because they don't want to fight, but because they've got contractual disputes. Hunter is not fighting, according to her. Okay, fair enough. Talks of Usyk versus Joshua, who wins? Joshua's best chance of beating Usyk is now or April time. Why? Because Usyk would not have got his feet wet in the heavyweight division. That being said, Usyk all now has been training with Klitschko. He's been sparring with Vladimir Klitschko. James Elibashir let us know that in the last interview we did with him. So Uncle James gave us that information. For me, any guy that comes up from cruiserweight to heavyweight with the extensive amateur background that Usyk has and the footwork that Usyk has is going to give the heavyweight division absolute nightmares. It's not about having big muscles and can punch. It's movement. Did you see Frank looking to put Tyson Wilder rematch on the same day as the AJ fight? Did I not say it? Did I not call it? Did I not call it? I said, for me, I would put Wilder versus Tyson Fury 2 in the UK. In fact, I'd get that contract signed as soon as possible and get it signed for April and make it and set the fight up in April. That's what I'd do. I'd do it. I would do it. I would definitely do it. It's not I would do it. It's not the first time that the two sides have put boxing on the same night. But then you'll really see. Then you will really see how much power Joshua has in the UK. Then you'll see. All these people talk about gates and tickets and this. Let's see what Joshua can do on the same. See if he can still sell out Wembley or sell out this and sell out that. Let's see if he can sell out these places that his promoter keeps saying he can sell out when there's a rival fight going on that's better than his fight. Let's see if he can do it. Then you're going to see how loyal the British fans are to Anthony Joshua. When Wilder and Fury are fighting, somewhere else in the UK, and Joshua fighting, then you'll see the power of Joshua and whether they can actually pull in a gate further more than Wilder versus Fury. That will be the test right there. I don't. Arrogance is something I've got no time for whatsoever. We are boxing. No, you're not boxing. You're not boxing. You're a part of boxing. You're not boxing. And Al Heyman's going to show you for sure you ain't boxing. You're not boxing. Al Heyman, you don't hear Al Heyman saying he's boxing. They ain't boxing. They ain't boxing. They're only boxing to those people who have a short memory of what boxing's about. They're not boxing. They're not boxing. So yeah, I hope that if that's as a promoter, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Honestly, I would do that. I would do it, and then then you've definitely got Wilder versus Fury 2. And what I would do is Frank Warren. If I were Frank Warren, I'd throw it all out. I would also do. You know what I would ask for? In 2019, I would call out Eddie Hearn if I were Frank Warren. And I would do a face-off. Warren versus Hearn. Face-off. And talk boxing. Not gate sales and stupid things like that. Talk boxing. And let's hear what these both guys have got to say. And do you know what I'd do? I would also ask for a pay-per-view event in either September, yeah? Or, yeah, August, September time. Matchroom versus BT Sport or Sky versus BT Sport. I would love to do that. A pay-per-view event, one night only, yeah? The best of Warren's fighters versus the best of Hearn fighters. Put them together and let's see what happens. WWE style, because to be honest, boxing is a joke for the most part. And what they're carrying on with at the moment is proper WWE crap. So tables flying and all the rest of it, gate sales and all this rubbish talk. Talk about guys who want to fight one another. If you want to sum up, if you really want to sum up in a nutshell, the ideology, if you were to put the two ideologies in a room between Warren and Hearn, you could put it in a nutshell between Fury and Joshua. The unified heavyweight champion of the world is sitting ringside to two guys who've never been a world champion. But yet, they're unified heavyweight champion of the world, won't sit down and watch two guys fight, one being a world champion, the other being the linear champion, will not travel to America to watch the two guys fight for him to become undisputed champion. Have you ever heard such nonsense? Where you got Tyson Fury, who's willing to fight the best of the best. That is it in a nutshell for you. He won't turn up. He won't turn up to watch the linear heavyweight championship of the world being fought for and the WBC title. The last belt he needs to become undisputed champion. You should be in the audience. You talk about raising your profile in America. That would have been a great way to raise your profile in America and a great way to show the American public you ain't scared of Wilder and you ain't scared of Tyson Fury. No, you just make yourself make a laughing stock. This is all going to backfire. I'm telling you, it's all going to backfire. Imagine a pay-per-view fight, right? Dubois versus AJ. People would pay to see that fight for sure. I think it'd be a good fight. A good fight. In fact, I'd rather pay to watch Dubois versus Joshua than White versus Joshua. Seen it all before. Don't want to see it again. I'd rather see White versus Wilder if I had to see a fight, or White fight Miller for the WBA vacant title. That's a fight I'd like to see. But yeah. AJ said he wants Wilder, but Hearn said he wants Fury. Make your mind up. Listen, anything for a bit of publicity. That's what it is. You had the opportunity to fight. You didn't take the opportunity. You didn't think that Wilder and Fury were going to fight. They actually fought, made you look like a complete idiot. Up to what, the night? I don't think the fight's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. You didn't think it was going to happen because you arrogantly thought that you're the only one who can set up boxing fights. You're the only one who can work in the heavyweight division. This is not going to end up good. Not going to end up good. AJ looked out of his comfort zone when he went to America for the zone prison when Miller came up to him. He's one-dimensional. Wilder and White will happen when Wilder is undisputed. Yeah, will happen. Will happen. But yeah, you know, I don't talk to be popular. I don't talk to butter people. I just talk and just say as I see it. Oh, while you're listening, hey, yo, did you all get to watch the boxing that we had on from the training cave? There was some cracking fights we have on BWTM. Check those fights out, the training cave. Also check out our interview with Henry Wharton. Let me tell you something. When I saw Henry Wharton, that's probably the first interview I've done as a proper fanboy. I was a proper fanboy when I saw Henry Wharton. I've been watching Henry Wharton as a school kid, right? Fighting Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank and Robin Reed. More so I actually thought he had a good chance of beating Eubank, but that night Eubank was on fire. Eubank was on fire that night. And Wharton was telling me how what Mickey Duff had said to inspire Chris Eubank that night to put on one of his best performances ever. It was just spine-tingling talking to somebody that you watch as a child box. And he was one of my favourite British boxers. And I really believed he'd be a world champion. Mickey Duff era was what an era the Mickey Duff era was. So check out the Henry Wharton interview, of course. Will Hearn feel like a fool after Usyk schools AJ, takes the belts and gets frozen at the heavyweight division from 18 to face Wilder to now having the belts taken by Usyk? The big possibility Usyk could do it. He's got the footwork to do it. The same night as Fury Wilder rematch. Any news on Chris Eubank Jr.? Isn't he want to fight James DeGale in January? I heard that was going to happen. Good interview with Wharton. What he had to smile on his face when you called him champ. Yeah, and he had a tear in his eye after the interview we did. He had a tear in his eye. And do you know what he did after that? Put my phone. He typed his number into my mobile phone. He said, "Here, give me a phone call. Call me anytime you want to call me. You know, come and visit me in Leeds and we'll have a chat." So Much shout out to Henry Wharton and Henry's Gym, and a massive shout out to Andrew Siddle, wherever you are, Andrew Siddle, ESQ, sir. Thank you for setting the interview up. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for that. Any news on Adonis Stevenson? The last story I heard wasn't promising. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like Adonis Stevenson because of his past. And I understand. I understand where people feel that. But I still think it's pretty cruel that you would wish a person such, I don't know, badness. But there we go. Mickey Duff called Eubank a thief, up to the point of that. Up to the point of at a press conference, Mickey Duff, up to the point of the interview was. He said the press conference was going okay, and then Mickey Duff turned around and called Eubank a thief, like in the way he used to fight. Like he didn't actually box for 3 minutes. He used to box a minute and a half and pose. And Mickey Duff, I remember the interview and I remember the press conference, and he called Eubank a thief because of his boxing style. He didn't give people value for money. I think that was when Eubank was doing his world tour. And Henry Wharton looked at Eubank and he said the moment that Mickey Duff called Eubank a thief, Eubank clenched his fist, his jaw tightened, and there was a different Chris Eubank after Duff had said that. And of course, he made Wharton pay for that. He really did. Your thoughts on Yard versus Tunde being confronted by Jose Bolton in LA and heckled Lions in Wizard of Oz? Fight, listen, they've got to, listen, Lennox Lewis, British, Commonwealth, European, world, but before Lennox went on to the world stage, he cleaned up in the UK. So, but then, hey, Bruno never fought for a British title. He went and tried to fight for a world title. There are many others. Nigel Benn never fought for a British title and became world champion. So, and Ben called out Eubank in a. I mean, look, remember when Ben fought Anthony Logan, and Michael Watson. You know, if Yard were to get beat now, all these promotions going at the moment, it would not be good. So Tunde is very smart. They're getting all the promotion they can get. They're getting all the promotional deals and all the stuff. While they're grabbing everything they can while they can. Because if it doesn't work out, at least they've got the most. They've maxed out on the ability that they have. Frampton, Warrington breakdown. Leopai Gorman. Gorman's going to smash Leopai. Gorman's a very good fighter. Gorman smashes Leopai. Hey, why? What the hell are they fighting Alex Leopai for? What they think Alex Leopai out for? He's going to smash Leopai. If Gorman's going anyway, he'll smash Leopai. Frampton, Warrington. I'm going with Warrington. I think Frampton's on the other side of his career. I haven't been impressed with Frampton of late, and I have a big support of Frampton. I'm backing Warrington for this one because there was something about Warrington I saw in the Lee Selby fight. He showed he could adapt and change his style. And I like Warrington. I like the way he was able to adapt against Lee Selby. I think he's bigger. I think he's stronger. And I think he's got as good boxing ability as Frampton, if not better. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going for Warrington on that. Kid Galahad mandatory for Frampton Warrington winner. Good luck to him. Lewis, Joe Joyce for the next year. Thoughts, breakdown. Let's just hope that Luis Ortiz doesn't hit Joe Joyce on the chin. Joe Joyce does need to move forward with his career. But like Uncle Bashir says, I think it might be a bit too early in Joe Joyce's career. But early, he's 33. He's got to get a move on with his career. So, yeah. Joe Joyce is going to have to use his feet and not be robotic. But he's very robotic, Joe Joyce. And he's there to be hit and nailed by Luis Ortiz. So, but if it's a stamina bout and if it's a long distance fight, you back Joe Joyce. For an early fight, I mean, we don't even know how hard Joe Joyce really hits because he's fought guys that He's fought nobody really. Let's be honest. Joe Joyce has fought absolutely nobody in his career so far. So now Joyce is with somebody else now. He's moved with Abel Sanchez. He's not with Hay anymore, I don't think. If Yard does not clear up domestically, the hate will continue. You cannot continue to fight unknown bad enough. I think they have. Uh, who are we? Who are we think AJ will fight in April? Rumor has it it's Usyk, and I wouldn't be surprised because they don't want to be defending their title against Usyk at the end of 2019. Usyk would have had enough fights in the heavyweight division to be ready for Joshua. Joshua needs to jump on him now. So yeah. Anything else, people, before I disappear? Don't forget to check out the boxing on BWTM Sports, the interview of Henry Wharton, Round for Round boxing playlist. What else? And just to add, I'm backing White to beat Chisora in the rematch. I think White has become a mature fighter now. I really like, I've got to say this, I really like the development of Dillian White as a character, as a man, as a fighter. He understands the business of boxing. There was a comment he made at the end of the Chisora, the gloves are off. And Chisora was like, he was not willing to do something for Sky. And I don't know, but I think it's same old Chisora and Dillian White a better, fresher fighter. I don't think Chisora beats White in the rematch. I think White he should have fought. He should that night he should have beaten White. I thought he beat White that night. He doesn't beat White in the rematch. I believe White goes on and either stops Chisora or he beats him convincingly in the rematch. Dave Allen is sparring White for Chisora rematch. I hope Dave Allen is fit and getting ready for Big Baby Miller next year. Undercard April 13th at Wembley for Dave Allen. I heard Dave Allen's meant to fight in Lucas Brown. But for heaven's sake, Dave, get yourself in shape. And don't take them big, heavy punches because Lucas Brown can punch. Can Usyk beat Tyson Fury? Footwork, isn't it? I was surprised in how Tyson was able to see Wilder's punches coming. I thought that Wilder's speed would give Tyson problems. But again, if you're loading up with punches and really trying to take a guy out, and you've got all that nerves, then you're going to be a little slower. Nerves do slow you up. But Tyson, for the most part, handled Wilder's speed. But then Wilder's not a cruiserweight. This guy, Usyk, is a cruiserweight. It will be a great fight. I don't know. I don't know how to call that fight. Would be a great fight though. I don't know how to call that fight. I really don't. I really don't. I really don't know. It would be a great fight though. That's all I can say. Usyk v Tyson would be a great fight. Really great fight. Okay. Do you think Usyk can get the decision against AJ? I think he will be treated like Ortiz. No, I think Usyk's got enough speed and movement to not get caught up in a big clinches with AJ. And I also think he's got enough power to hurt AJ. So I think Usyk's got speed, movement, and boxing ability. Far better boxer than Joshua. And he's got far more amateur experience than Joshua. So I think Usyk's a tremendous boxer. But hey, Joshua has improved. He's come on that Povetkin fight. He showed me a lot more in that Povetkin fight. So who knows? What are your thoughts about Dave Allen turning down the opportunity to train with Adam Booth? Not much to say about that, to be honest. So, no surprising, only person on Haymaker Promotion is Chisora now. Yeah. Dave had a trial for a week or so with Adam, and he chose to stick with Marsden out of loyalty. Out of loyalty or out of a trainer who's going to work him hard. Adam Booth, Peter Fury. These trainers don't take any nonsense. I don't know about McMaster. I don't know about McMaster, but I get the feeling that that relationship he's got there, Dave is able to do what he wants. And Adam Booth won't stand for it. We know the situation with Eubank and Adam Booth, and Adam Booth basically walked out on Chris Eubank Jr. because Eubank wanted to do his own thing. So if you read between the lines there, I think Booth's a hard taskmaster, and I don't think Booth and Alan would work well together anyway. Do you think he will be shelved like Ortiz? No, I don't think so. Usyk will get robbed on the cards at Wembley against AJ. Let's be real. No, I don't think so. I think Usyk's got what he takes. I think he's got the speed and the movement and the volume of punching to force a stoppage. I really do. I really do. I really do. It's not just. It's just not about the power. It's the amount of times he'll be able to land them punches. So Kell Brook needs to stop begging for Khan fight. It's the only fight he can have now, mate. Because you really don't want to see him fighting Hurd, do you? Or could you imagine Brook versus Charlo? Oh Lord! And he's already not seen punches coming. Brook needs to retire. Me personally, Brook needs to retire. I don't want to see a fight where he lacks vision, and I've got serious concerns about that as well. Right, I need to get out of here, people. I need to go and get to bed. I've gone way over my time. Denise Ward, thank you so much for asking me your question. Those who didn't hear earlier on, don't forget to check out the big fights, amateur boxing, the training cave. Shout out to BWTM Online, our other channel that has entertainment, news, community, music, interviews with the likes of Destiny's Child's former manager, and lots more stuff. Despite, how do I put that? How do I put this? Despite the views of some misinformed people, this is not the only channel. I've been doing this almost 10 years now, come 2019. So shout out to the BWTM Online channel. That channel has got a lot less love. And this channel has now got close to 14,000 subscribers. The other one's got 11,000. There'll be a lot more love on that BWT Online channel in 2019. That's as much as I can say about that for now. So shout out to the BWTM Online for the 11,000 they got. Also, for those people who are talking about BWTM hoodies and BWTM cups and stuff like that, there's now the BWTM collection that has been launched earlier today. Check that out as well. Really excited about that stuff as well. And yeah, that's about it. It would be good if you could get Dave on your show and have a chat with him. Put some of these questions about his dedication and fitness to him. It would be great. But hey, who's Denise Ward? Denise Ward is a long-time supporter of BWTM. She asked me the question about Kell Brook, hence why this conversation went about. So that's what it is. Won't be doing any manager tonight. Probably going to leave manager or gaming to the weekends, or one night during the week and then a weekend. That's what I'm going to be doing for that. Yeah. Yeah. Got big plans for the gaming channel, by the way. So it should start getting pretty busy in the gaming channel room. So yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you again to everybody. Shout out to everyone. Much appreciate you all and much love. They keep talking. We'll keep working. That's what it's about here at BWTM. Take care. And we'll see you soon. They can always talk about what you do, but they can't take away your achievements. Good night.